You know that time between finishing Plab and then actually starting to work as a doctor in the UK? What are you going to do in that time? Hi guys, my name is Sissy and I'm a Ugandan medical doctor in the UK, and I remember wondering what exactly I would do in that time. I'll share exactly what I did, but in this video I'm going to be sharing 4 things that I think you need to do as soon as you finish your Plab 2. So all these 4 things are basically planning for your GMC registration. So have a think about exactly what you're going to need to do for GMC registration. So number 1 is to plan your EPIC verification. So EPIC is an organization, I think, based in the US that verifies medical degrees around the world. So if you've done this already, for instance, for US purposes or Canadian purposes or any other country, then you don't have to repeat this. You just need to inform EPIC to send a report to the GMC. You pay some amount of money for that as well. This whole process is to make sure you didn't just go to NASA and print off a medical degree. The process can be long, so that's why I did it as soon as I could. So I did it between my Plab 1 and Plab 2 actually. So you can do it at any time, because remember, when you've done it, it's permanent. You don't have to repeat it. It's just that you have to pay for the report, and the GMC wants their report to be at least 1 year old. So if it's more than 1 year in advance, then you're going to have to pay again. What it involves is that you go to the EPIC website. You're going to have to pay a fee. So EPIC is going to send some forms to your medical school. Your medical school has to receive those forms, sign them out, and then send them back to them via post. So you see, it can take a long time depending on how fast things are at your medical school. So for me personally, I wasn't back in my home country. I wasn't in Uganda. So I had to ask someone to please help me go to the office and check, have they got the document? And then they had got the document, but they needed to be paid as well. So they needed money to be paid in the bank. So I had my friend help me go pay the money to the bank and then come back and then make sure that the admin staff filled in the documents correctly and then send them back to the US, I think, using post as well. I was worried this might take long, so that's why I did it for me after finishing my Plab 1, but before sitting my Plab 2. And yeah, so it's up to you to figure out how long you think that your university is going to take. Find out from people who've done it, and then you can judge. So for me, who was in MOOC, it was about 3 months for the whole process to be done. Number 2 is a certificate of good standing. If you've worked as a doctor in another country before coming to the UK, then the GMC is going to require a certificate of good standing from the Medical Regulatory Authority. So for us, it's the UMDPC. You have to go to them, you fill in all their paperwork, pay the fee that they need, and then they give you the certificate. So this is just to make sure you don't have any crimes, you haven't missed track of any from any other medical regulatory authority and you're trying to escape. So the GMC wants the certificate to be not more than 3 months old. So for our case in Uganda, the UMDPC has a certificate and they say that it's valid for 6 months. So you have to make sure that it's all within the timeline. If you get it from them and then 6 months elapsed, then they'll say, okay, now you can get a new one. But then if it's under 6 months, they'll say yours is still valid, but the GMC wants theirs to be only under 3 months old. So you have to time it appropriately. Number 3 is English proficiency exams. I know you already had to do IELTS or OET before. So GMC requires IELTS or OET to be valid at the time you're sitting Plab 1. So for me, by the time I did my Plab 1, my IELTS was about to expire, and as soon as I did the Plab 1, like the next day it was expiring. So by the time I was applying for GMC registration as well, I had to have IELTS again. So this is when I went through it, the whole process again. I had to do it and I ended up doing it 3 times. So if your IELTS or OET have not yet expired, then it's okay. Perfect, you don't have to go through this. But if it has, then this is the time for you to go back to the studying, especially for the writing part that can be so annoying. So just make sure you concentrate and do it all again properly. Number 4 is to apply for jobs. Yes guys, start applying for jobs as soon as you finish your Plab 2. First of all, it's going to take a while. Some people take a while to get back to you. Go to the NHS jobs website where you can go and apply for jobs. This is the track website, and then create a profile. So you fill in all your information. It's like putting your CV all online, and take your time guys, take it really seriously. Don't just fill it out anyhow randomly. Then you're going to start waiting, because that's what I did. So as soon as I finished my Plab 2, then I started applying for jobs, and that's where I found my worst job actually. It was advertised in the NHS jobs website. By the time they called me for the interview, my results were not actually yet out for Plab 2. But by the time I started the interview, my results were out. By the time I applied for GMC registration, I already had a job, which was really great. So this applies not only for WASP, but also a bunch of other jobs. Because sometimes people are really desperate, there's such a shortage of doctors, and as long as anyone looks like there's any hope for them, like they're in the process, they've done their Plab, they're waiting GMC registration, then sometimes the employers are happy to even interview you. While you're applying for the jobs and you've done all this, then you know that the next thing is going to be applying for your visa, paying for air tickets. So another bonus tip is really to start working. If you can work in your country or wherever you're working, just work and save up as much money as you can, because you're going to need money for your expenses. So the application for the Tier 2 visa is so much easier now, because it's called the Health and Social Care visa. It's much cheaper, it's processed faster, but by the time you're applying, time, they do need you to show proof of expenses for your first month. That is, but when you arrive in the UK, before your first salary arrives, they want to see how you're going to manage your living expenses. So they want you to have money in your bank account already for that. This is a good time for you to save up for this. Also save up for the air ticket costs and also the visa costs for your dependents if you're going to come with your family as well. At this time also, some people do clinical electives or attachments. It's a good time to do that if you're already in the UK and maybe it's not an extra expense. But if you're going to come all the way to the UK for like a 1 month attachment, I feel like it's not worth it. If you're already here, maybe because obviously you are here for Plab 2 and you're going to be doing attachments, I think it's worthwhile if you're going to be here and the cost of living is not going to be so high for you. If you can't afford it, then probably it's not the best use of your time. So personally, for me, I was already in the UK and I was doing a master's. By the time I finished my Plab 2, I also finished my master's exams, but I was working on my dissertation. So I was basically working on my dissertation the whole time and then finishing up bits and bobs in my master's. Then after that, I had a bit of a break because I had such a hard year. And then I started working about 6 months after my Plab 2. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to watch more videos like this, then make sure you subscribe. Thanks, guys. Bye.